What? If I told you that one city generates more economic output than entire countries, a city with over 8 million residents, more than 800 languages spoken, a skyline recognized on every continent. But the real question, is New York City actually the most developed city on Earth? Or is that just a powerful illusion created by Wall Street, Hollywood, and decades of global influence? Tonight, we're breaking it down, economically, socially, technologically, and comparing it to the best cities on the planet. Let's find out. Before we crown a winner, we need a definition. When people say most developed city, they usually mean economic power, infrastructure, quality of life, technology, global influence, public services, safety, equality. That is a lot of categories. Here's the twist. A city can dominate in one and struggle badly in another. New York is a financial giant. But does that automatically make it the most developed? Not necessarily. Let's start with the big number. The New York metropolitan area produces roughly $2 trillion in GDP annually. To put that in perspective, that's larger than the entire economies of countries like Canada, South Korea, or Russia. At the center of this machine is New York Stock Exchange, the largest stock exchange in the world by market capitalization. Add to that, Nasdaq, Wall Street banks, global media headquarters, tech startups, fashion, advertising, publishing. Financially speaking, very few cities can compete. But economic size alone doesn't equal development. Because development isn't just about how much money flows in, it's about how that money translates into daily life. Now let's talk infrastructure. New York's subway system is one of the largest in the world, over 470 stations. It runs 24 hours a day. That's rare. But here's the tension. Much of it is over 100 years old. Signal failures, delays, flooding risks. The city's airports, JFK and LaGuardia, handle tens of millions of passengers annually. Recent renovations have improved them significantly. But when compared to ultra-modern hubs in cities like Singapore or Tokyo, New York's systems don't always feel cut. So, while it's vast and functional, it's not necessarily the most advanced. You might think Silicon Valley dominates tech. But New York has quietly built its own tech ecosystem. Silicon Alley now hosts thousands of startups. Major tech companies operate large offices here. Artificial intelligence, fintech, media tech, all thriving. Universities like Columbia University and New York University feed talent into the system. But again, cities like Singapore, Seoul, and Tokyo often rank higher in smart city integration. Things like AI-driven traffic systems, nationwide 5G coverage, cashless infrastructure, advanced robotics in public services. New York competes, but it doesn't clearly dominate. Now we reach the uncomfortable part. Development isn't about skyscrapers, it's about how people live. And this is where New York becomes complicated. Median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan can exceed $4,000 per month. Income inequality is among the highest in the United States. Homelessness affects tens of thousands nightly. Healthcare is world-class but expensive. Public schools vary dramatically by neighborhood. Crime has decreased compared to the 1990s, but concerns remain. So while New York offers enormous opportunity, it also presents enormous pressure. Compare that to cities like Singapore or Tokyo, often ranked higher in safety, public housing, and cost stability. So is New York developed? Yes. Is it balanced? That's debatable. Here's where New York may take the lead. Global influence. It hosts the headquarters of the United Nations. Its fashion weeks set global trends. Broadway shapes theater worldwide. Wall Street influences global markets. American media headquartered here exports culture to billions. When something happens in New York, the world notices. Few cities command that level of attention. Not even London. Not even Tokyo. In terms of soft power, New York is arguably number one. This question matters because cities shape global standards. If New York is the most developed city, it becomes the model others try to copy. If it's not, then perhaps the future belongs to a different model, more planned, more efficient, more equal, more technologically integrated. Urban planners, investors, governments, they all look at leading cities to predict the future. And New York is always part of that conversation. But increasingly, it shares the stage. So let's bring it all together. Economically dominant? Yes. Culturally influential? Absolutely. Technologically competitive? Definitely. Most advanced infrastructure? Not quite. Most equal society? No. Safest? Not at the very top. Most efficient? Debatable. Which leads to the real question, is being most developed about raw power or about balance? Because if it's about balance, combining economic strength with safety, affordability, and advanced infrastructure, then cities like Singapore or Tokyo may have a strong case. But if it's about global impact and economic scale, New York remains nearly unmatched. Here's the honest answer. New York is not perfectly developed. It struggles with inequality. It battles aging infrastructure. It faces high living costs. But it remains one of the most powerful, influential, and economically dominant cities on Earth. It may not be the most technologically optimized, it may not be the most efficient, but it might still be the most globally significant. And perhaps that's a different kind of development. A city that thrives not because it is flawless, but because it constantly reinvents itself. From financial crises, to pandemics, to technological shifts, New York adapts, and that resilience might be its greatest strength. So, is New York the globe's most developed city? The answer depends on what you value: efficiency, equality, innovation, influence, or raw economic power. Maybe the future of urban development isn't about one city being number one. Maybe it's about learning from all of them, New York included. If you enjoyed this deep dive into global power cities, subscribe to USA Uncovered. Because next time, we're asking another big question: which American city will dominate the next 50 years? And the answer might surprise you.